Good morning, my name's Cindy. I'm from Sinful Sweets and Treats, and I am starting a new bakery business, and I wanted to try and help you guys to learn some of the stuff that I had to watch like 1,000 different videos in order to learn. So instead of going to a bunch of different resources, I wanted to try and combine it all into one. So this morning what we're going to be doing is a simple little heart-shaped coconut cake. And so what we have to do is start off with the crumb coat and a couple of little quick hacks that I've learned along the way to make life easier. Use your butter paper as a little tray for your spatula, because it's wax paper. It comes off really easy, doesn't make a mess, and when you're done you just pitch it like you were going to do before anyway. So, and then the other thing is use a cup, nice tall glass, and put your piping bag in there, and that way it's really easy to fill, a lot less messy, and a lot easier to deal with. And then also in between when you're not working with it, you can just set it back in there. Again, less mess, easy to access, and nice and simple. So first thing you want to do is just put a little bit of frosting on the bottom so that your cake won't go sliding around. I already took my little 4-inch heart cake that I have, and I cut it in half and took the top off so it would be nice and even. So you just want to basically take that, put a good decent amount of frosting in there, because people in general like frosting and you don't want to disappoint. And then just spread it around. For the filler. Again, using my little butter sheet, and then you put your top layer of the cake on. And this is an ideal size for just 1 or 2 people, so that they can have a little bit of cake, but they're not like under pressure to eat this big huge thing. So you just want to put some on this one, because this is going to be the crumb coat. So what we're going to do is put a little bit of frosting on here, and then after you do that, you're going to want to spread it around, and that's just to lock in all the crumbs, hence crumb coat. So coating it freely with crumbs, and you'll probably actually end up with a little bit of extra of this. This cake is really moist, so the crumbs are wanting to come up real good when I am doing the top of it and the side. So it's definitely necessary to do the crumb coat on this one. I crumb coat everything just to be safe, because I want my cakes to look pretty. I'm still working on that whole part, but nonetheless you want them to look good, so you want to make sure that you give it a nice little coat. Go. Now this level is just like I said earlier, this is just a crumb coat, so it doesn't have to be perfectly even and level and all that good stuff. Alright, now that you've got this done, what you're going to want to do is pop it in the fridge for about 20 minutes or so that it can chill, and you will keep those crumbs all locked in for the next layer. Okay, so welcome back. We've let our cake chill, and we did that so that now you can touch it and it's not coming off on your hands. Well, in my case, the gloves. So what we're going to do now is just put a second coat on here. And this is going to be a little bit thicker than the first one. And you're going to put it on a little thicker than it's going to end up being in the long run, because you're going to want to Try and make it fairly even. And you're going to scrape some off and back into the bowl. Now this cake is going to have a coconut outing layer on the outside of it, so it doesn't have to be perfectly smooth. You just want to have it, you know, nice little, fairly even, but it doesn't have to be exact. I mean, that's the nice thing about it when you have something on the outside of it. So. You don't want to jip people on the frosting, but you also don't want to overwhelm them either. Now, I know some people that could pretty much dive into a bowl of frosting and they would be happy as ever, and you would never have to do anything else for them again for the rest of their lives. But other people, they don't like a lot of it. So I try to have like a happy medium in there, where you have a decent amount, but it's not so overwhelming that, you know, it's cloyingly sweet, as they say. There we go. Now there's a few tools that make life a great deal easier for yourself when doing cake decorating. One is a bent neck spatula, or crank neck, I've heard it called, all kinds of things. This one I got at the restaurant supply store for $3, so it's nothing that you have to spend a ton of money on. Another one is the turntable. That'll make your life a lot easier as well, because that way you're not trying to go around and having to turn everything and deal with a whole bunch of mess. So it makes life a great deal easier for you in the long run. Now this turntable I got alongside a whole bunch of different tips and some different baking pans, and it was a whole kit, as well as other fondant tools and great things like that. And it was like $35 on Amazon. So you can find some really good kits. Now, in every kit, it's always the case, there's going to be something there that you just don't need, you know. So like it had an egg separator thing in there that was kind of fairly well useless, to be honest with you, and some really flimsy whisks. But the rest of it was pretty darn good, and I've been enjoying it and playing with it and having a good time. So this is the point where you get to be messy. So you've got your cake, you've got it nice and frosted and looking beautiful, so now you get to mess it up with all this nice flaked coconut. What I do recommend you do is put a some sort of a pan underneath it to catch any flaked coconut that you don't end up having stay on the cake, so you're not getting it all over your house. So, and even though my little pup Chase would just love to hoover all this stuff up after I was done and let him back into the room, I don't think he needs to be eating all this. We pretty much let him eat his dog food and a little slice of apple every once in a while. Other than that, he gets his premium dog food. Poor guy, right? Alright, so that's not too bad. It kind of worked. Got it nice and covered up. So what I'm going to do now is just basically take the excess here and just brush it back into the bowl. Waste not, want none, as my dad always said. Now this cake board has been cleaned, so don't, you know, not exactly doing any cross-contamination here. Anything that falls down on the countertop like that, I'll just get rid of. But that's why I'm trying to keep it over this as much as possible, so there's as little waste as possible. And one of the things you have to be very aware of when you're starting a new business is cost. So there's a ton of little startup costs that you don't necessarily think about. And this is a good way to try and minimize some of those costs. Now this cake board, speaking of minimizing costs, was a very high-tech and extremely modern purchase. I used a leftover box from an Amazon order, cut it into the shape I wanted, and covered it with some tin foil. It's about as easy as it can get. So, alright, so now that we've got that done and it looks nice and pretty, you can either go with contrasting colors if you want, or just keep it simple, which is really what I'm going to do here. So what I'm going to do here is actually use one of those tips that I got that I was referring to a little bit ago. Finish the top. Oh, it's on there, of course. So, when I'm frosting the cake for just a simple layer, what I tend to do is put the plastic nozzle at the bottom and then put the top on it. And then later when I'm ready for the tip, then I'll go ahead and add it on. Makes life a little easier. So again, I'm fairly new with doing the pretty decorating and everything, so I'm just going to keep it simple and just do a little rope pattern. I'm going to step over to the side here so you can see. We basically just kind of swirl it. Now there's tons and tons of videos out there that are available for seeing different styles that you can do for borders. And this is one of the ones that I picked up that was nice and simple. And then on the top here, we're just going to do a couple of quick little, oop, we're not going to do anything. Nah, we'll do that. You know what, actually, I think it doesn't need it. We're going to go ahead and leave the rest off. So, nice thing about flake coconut, it comes off real easy. So there you go, there we have it. This is our finished cake. It's a 4-inch heart cake, which, like I say, it's perfect for just a couple of people, 1 or 2 people. A nice little gift for somebody that you love, whether they're a friend or family or the love of your life, whatever that may be. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope this was helpful. And have a wonderful day. And again, if you want to check out any of our products we have, we're at sinfulsweetsandtreats.com.